YouTube, it's me, Jim the Giant. So today I'm going to be responding to Alex, Alpha Destiny, in regards to squats. So I'll get this out of the way now. Despite my disagreements with him on this topic, I do highly recommend his channel, so I'll link it down below. So please check it out, and if you like his videos, subscribe. With that out of the way then, let's get on with the video.
Yo, this is Alex, Alpha Destiny. Today I want to talk about reasons not to squat. Okay, now first of all, I'd like to say right off the fucking bat, that if you are a competitive athlete, this video does not apply to you. I don't care what anyone says. If you're a boxer, a powerlifter, a strongman, a field athlete, whatever, you gotta be squatting. There's just no way around it, okay? That being said, this video is for a small minority of people, okay? Only some of you can benefit from the advice that I'm talking about right now, okay? So don't call me out if you think that I'm encouraging people not to squat. I already told you it's for minority people, recreational lifters, that is. So let's get started. Reason number one. Why shouldn't you squat? Well, because you don't need to squat to get big legs. I've already given you many examples that in the past. Like my dad had 31-inch quads. He never did a single squat in his entire life. Now maybe if he were to step under a barbell and try squatting, you wouldn't be able to squat a lot of weight, but that's insignificant if your goal is to build maximum leg hypertrophy, okay? The only difference is obviously the movement patterns, the stabilizers, things of that nature. You won't be as developed, okay? But that, obviously, if you're not an athlete, these things don't really matter in the first place, okay?
The squat isn't supposed to just be a leg isolation exercise though. It also helps with core strength, muscles in the upper and lower back among others, and massively improves your tendon and bone strength as well. And I don't see the point in having really thick legs if your back gives out when you try and pick up a sack of potatoes, or you get the shit kicked out of you in a street fight because you haven't developed the total body strength which squats can help you achieve.
Okay, and also if you have good genetics, I mean, why should you squat, you know? If you have 26-inch legs from doing fuck all, and you know, you're a short guy and stuff like that, and you already have proportionate legs to your body, there's just no need to go all out, you know? Especially if you're not a competitive athlete. And that's my second point. If you're not a competitive athlete, you shouldn't be training like one, okay? You're not the 1 percentile of society. You're not the 1% that's going to be making it to the elite levels, breaking world records. There is no motherfucking reason to be training like an elite level athlete. If you want to compete, yo, then go do that shit, okay? But don't just train like an elite level athlete because you want to be hardcore. Like, bro, you're a recreational lifter, for God's sake, okay?
If you've already got well proportioned legs, then I'd say that's a good reason not to do accessory lifts for your legs, like extensions, curls, a leg press and that kind of thing. But as I said before, I think squats are still worth doing because they work far more than just your legs.
Next reason why you shouldn't squat is because it wastes all kinds of time, okay? Anyone who's squatted above 400 pounds knows exactly what I'm talking about. It typically goes like this. You warm up with an empty bar, you do 135, then you slap on 225, then 275, then 315, then 365, and then you go into the fours. That's like 7 freaking warm-ups, okay? And I'm not even talking about, you know, all the times that you gotta strap on the weights on both sides, including the amount of rest that you take, because each warm-up set you gotta start resting a bit more, otherwise you fatigue yourself, kind of like ramping sets, okay? So in the end, your warm-ups can take you like 20 fucking minutes, between 15 and 20 minutes, if your goal is to squat maximum amounts of weight.
If someone's squatting 4 plates, I'd say they're a fairly serious lifter by that point. I mean, how many guys do you see squatting 4 plates in your gym? How many do you even see squatting 3 plates for that matter? So I think it's a bit unfair to point to somebody who squats 4 plates and say, look how long that takes, to show that squats take a long time for a recreational lifter. Even so, it shouldn't take somebody at that level very long to get their squat workout done if their goals are hypertrophy. So if they've got a 1 rep max of 4 plates, that would give them approximately an 8 rep max of 3 plates, so 10 body weight squats, 5 squats of 1 plate, 3 squats of 2 plates, 1 squat of 2.5 plates. That's their warm-up done. Then 3 sets of 8. They should be done with their squats in 15 to 20 minutes, unless they're acting like a little bitch in the gym. So yeah, my goals are a little bit more serious. I actually do want to become a professional, competitive powerlifter. And even so, I'm getting my squats done within 30 minutes on most days. So I really don't think it does take that long, and I think it's a pretty efficient use of your time when you consider the alternative. So to get even close to the same approximate effects, you'd have to be doing leg press plus good mornings. And by the time you've done both exercises, including the racking of the weights, waiting for the equipment, etc., that's going to take you just as long, if not longer.
So you can get a lot done in an hour. And that time that you use squatting is not worth it. In addition to the fact that if you go on the leg press and you do single-legged leg presses, yo, it's going to take you 1 minute to warm up. For real. Literally. Not even a minute. Sometimes you can go straight into the weight depending how strong you are, you know? And you'll get a very good workout, 3 to 5 sets, 10 reps each leg. Your legs are still going to hypertrophy, you're going to feel it. You're going to build that VMO, you're going to build your hamstrings, your glutes.
So I've already really covered this, but again, doing the leg press, sure, it's going to get you just as good a results for leg hypertrophy as doing squats, but squats are going to help you so much more in other regards. And for the time thing, again, if you're doing leg press, you're gonna have to do good mornings or something like that to have the same effect. And by that point, it is going to take you just as long, if not longer, than just getting off your ass and doing the goddamn squats.
And then last note about time, you can also be using that time to improve your life. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time to build a business, or I don't have time to read, or I don't have time for this and that. Bro, you don't have time because you're busy squatting all the time. That's the fucking truth. When I was squatting like three, 4 times a week, my workouts took me so much time that I was basically living in the gym. I would have no social life, none of that shit. The times where I was the most strong in my squats, that's where I was the most antisocial. Except for the gym, because obviously when you're in the gym, you like to talk to people, right? But guys, the gym shouldn't consume your life, especially, like I said, especially if you're not a goddamn competitive lifter, okay? So we'll get that shit out of the way. Time is money, respect it.
As somebody who does want to become a competitive lifter, I'm spending about 6 hours a week in the gym, and that still leaves me with plenty of free time. I mean, most people, they'll watch TV for 3 or 4 hours a day. You know, is it really going to do them any harm if they eat into that TV time and spend that time in the gym? I mean, while you're there, you're meeting people who are focused and driven, people are focused on something positive, and I really don't think that spending extra time in the gym is going to hurt the vast majority of people.
The next reason why I should squat is because it has very high injury rates, okay? Now you hear people saying, well, if you keep your form nice and solid, if you do it the proper way, you're not going to get injured. And although this is somewhat true, it's not 100% correct, okay? There's people who have amazing form, yet they still get injuries. And that's because you can't control micro tears. That shit happens whether you like it or fucking not, okay? And if you want some examples, I'll give you 2 examples of guys who are well known in the strength training community who have gotten injured. And their form is very good, better than a lot of you guys. So let me first mention Omar Isuf. Omar Isuf, great guy, great channel, really like his stuff. But he injured himself twice on squats in like the past 3 months. And he's not even, you know, at the elite level yet. He's getting injured doing sub 500 pound squats here. He keeps fucking up his hips and shit like that. Like right now, his body's talking to him. His body's saying, don't put me through this shit. But he's doing it anyway, okay? And if a guy like him, who specifically made a video on keeping your form solid and not going to Snap City, if that guy, practically, he's a fucking fitness YouTuber and he's getting injured, then I fear for the average person. I really do, okay? I've even had guys come back to me with their fucking x-ray pictures, man. And a lot of their audience, man, are teenagers. You want teenagers to get in a squat rack and do this crazy shit. First of all, most people, they turn it into a good morning, okay? They don't really have the structural integrity to do the fucking lifts, and they like ego lifting. No matter what you tell them, there's always that little nuance that can occur. You can always snap some shit up like that. You make one small tweak in your back, you're fucked, okay? And speaking of lower back strains, even Johnny Candido sprained his back while squatting at a meet once. If you've been subscribed to him for a very long time, like I have, since 5,000 subs, then you'll know that in one of his meets, he went a bit too low, and he snapped his lower back. And it set him off for quite a bit. Okay, and again, this is an elite level athlete here. This is an athlete that's encouraging other people to squat. and his technique's very good, and he has very good genetics on top of that, and he doesn't even do good mornings when he squats. He does it the proper way. So how come a guy like him is getting injured here? This is what I mean. It takes a small nuance to snap some shit up, and once that small nuance occurs, you're fucked up the ass. You're screwed. You got effed in the A, bro. I don't know why you put yourself in a position where you can get injured at any freaking moment. Like, for what? For a number, goddammit. A number that's insignificant because you're not a competitive lifter.
As those two are not simply recreational lifters, they push themselves really fucking hard, and as a result, they're going to have injuries every now and again. Speaking from personal experience, I've injured myself once doing squats and twice doing leg press, and I squat a hell of a lot more than I do the leg press. I don't know if there's actually any statistics on injury rate between the two exercises, but personally I think that the squats would be safer, because leg press is kind of like doing Smith machine squats. You're pushing the weight along one dimension. It can't deviate at all from there, and if your body decides it wants to move in a slightly different direction, you're going to end up snapping your shit up. So I reckon if the leg press was introduced into powerlifting, I think you'd see a lot more injuries with the leg press than you would squats. Yeah, a recreational lifter who's learnt correct form, has the safeties in place, and squats no higher than the 5 rep range, I really don't think they're going to see injuries very often at all.
Oh, and also on the thing of functionality, right? You can still build functional legs by doing unilateral work. Okay? Actually, when you do unilateral work, you use muscles that you don't really use on bilateral movements, like the glute medius gets a lot of attention. All those little stabilizers, okay, which is actually what real functionality is about, well, you work that shit on one-legged movements. And these one-legged movements take no time at all to do because you don't have to warm up practically. You can go straight into it because the weight is so light, you see. Like if you do a lot of pistol squatting and a lot of single-legged leg pressing, you're building all the stabilizers you need. So the argument that you're not going to be functional is still bullshit in itself. You might even be more functional than some of the squatters because they don't actually have unilateral stability. And that's what gets athletes injured. When people get on the field and they tear an ACL, well, that's because they didn't build up the little stabilizers. They've done too many bilateral movements, you know. Bilateral movements give you the strength to produce maximum force in your sport, but it doesn't necessarily induce maximum stability, which unilateral movements do. And unilateral movements take no time at all to do.
For pretty much all athletes, apart from powerlifters, yeah, they need to be doing some unilateral movements. But I don't think the single-legged leg press is a particularly great example of that. Like I said before, it's you're pushing the weight along a single dimension. How are you going to build up stabilizer strength when the machine's doing all the stabilizing work for you? Yeah, the other examples of exercise you gave are pretty great. Recently I've started doing lunges and walking lunges as well, and I'm a big fan of those, but I really don't think that the single-legged leg press is going to build very much stabilizer strength at all.
But then here's another reason. If your body feels beat up all the time, well, your body's talking to you. Your body's fucking talking to you. It's telling you that it doesn't want to squat, and that it's affecting your life in many different ways. I remember when I was doing the Texas method, for example, those 5x5 squats would destroy me, okay? Like, it was really, really unbearable. I was resting 8 minutes a set because it hurt that much, and I have to roll out my quads with a barbell. Freaking steel barbell here. I'd roll it out because it would hurt so badly. And then the Tuesday would be unbearable, okay? And I'd have to walk up a lot of stairs to get to locations that I had to go for the next day. And that would really, really kill me, you know? It's kind of like, you know when you do a bro split and you do that leg day shit and you're sore for the entire week? Well, imagine feeling like that all the time. You know, even though the frequency's there, the training itself is very, very, very intense on your body. And it does take a toll on you. It takes a toll on your nervous system. It takes a toll on how you feel physically. Sometimes you can't even get your dick up because you're so burnt out. You have no time to go out. Who the hell wants to go out? I want to fucking sleep. So, you know, some people, they're going to get very beat up off squatting. Some people, I'd recommend against it if it's really tapping into other aspects of their life. If you're going to be sleeping 12 hours a day because you're so run down from doing all this crazy squatting when you don't even compete. I mean, I don't see the point in really pushing yourself through that. The gym should be an addition to your life, not your life, unless you're an athlete.
I'm not saying it's impossible to have a decent strength or hypertrophy program like squats. You certainly could have a program which didn't include them, but there's certainly no exercises which are 100% necessary. But for the vast majority of people, I think they're a very, very wise exercise selection. Now, if you're fatiguing that much, that's certainly a good reason to reassess your program. Perhaps the Texas method just wasn't right for you at that point in time. Maybe the volume or intensity was just too high. Maybe you didn't rest long enough, or you hadn't built up the workload capacity. Maybe your diet wasn't on point at that time. Maybe your work was eating into your recovery too much. Or it could have been your choice of assistance work which is causing problems. When I was in a similar situation and squats were fatiguing me too much, all I did was I swapped bent over rows for chest supported rows, which reduced the amount of strain my back needed to do in a given workout, and that seemed to do the job for me.
And then my last reason why you should squat is because you fucking hate it. Okay, do you hate squatting, yes or no? A lot of people, they do the lift because their ego tells them to. But if you're a guy who legitimately doesn't enjoy it, okay, you step there and you're like, oh, I gotta squat. Well, guess what? You're not gonna have the motivation to do it, so you're not putting in maximum amount of effort, which is gonna hinder progress in the long term. And also, the gym is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy the gym. You're supposed to be ecstatic about going to it, you know? I mean, it's an activity here. This is your man activity. This is the time to, you know, release all your problems that you have. This is the time to improve yourself. It's not the time to degrade yourself because you feel bad at doing a certain movement. And a lot of people say, oh, to do this shit that makes you stronger. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, if there's other alternatives which deliver similar results, why wouldn't you do those if you actually like the alternative? And if you like the alternative, even though it may be less optimal, you're going to put in more effort into that and you're going to get stronger in the long term. Like if you like doing leg presses, why don't you do that instead of squatting? If you like split squats, why don't you do that? Why do you feel confined to this one goddamn exercise if you're a recreational lifter?
I'd say that would be a valid argument if there was an alternative to squats which offered all the same benefits and was just as efficient with time, but for the vast majority of people, I simply don't think that's the case. I'd also say stop squatting if they pissed you off so much that it was making you consider stopping lifting altogether. But to simply not squat because you don't particularly enjoy it, I don't think it's particularly sound advice. Yeah, for most people, having fun is not the primary reason they're at the gym. If they do enjoy what they're doing, that's fantastic and that's an added bonus. But for the majority of people, their main reasons are to improve the way they look or to improve their strength. And you're simply not going to enjoy every single second of every single session you do at the gym. Now, and if I was to make decisions for my life based purely around what I enjoy doing, I wouldn't go to the gym at all. I'd be playing computer games for 12 hours a day. So yeah, I don't think that's particularly great advice, really. And I think a lot of people fail to achieve their goals because they expect everything to be fun all the time and they avoid the things which are hard work. Especially in the female fitness community, you see people doing Zumba and using those fucking pussy pink dumbbells which do jack shit, and they just do them because they enjoy them and delude themselves into thinking that it's really doing something beneficial for their body. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got to say. So thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
This is all up to you, man. When you're a recreational lifter, there are no rules in this game. You could train exactly how you want. Like right now, I'm not doing any benching. I'm just doing weighted dips, okay? Because I like weighted dips, and they still give me great strength. You know, I'm just doing dips and incline presses with dumbbells. Obviously, this is not the optimal thing for a power lifter, but I'm not a power lifter. I'm a recreational lifter. I could train how I want. That's how you got to do it. What do you like doing? Pick the exercise that you like. You can be more motivated to go. You can enjoy your workouts. And it's not going to be a hassle every time you go in the gym. And some people don't like squats. If you like squats, do them. No problem. But I'm saying that some people don't, and that's where problems become. Okay.
So to expand on what I said a moment ago, if you're just doing stuff you enjoy doing, that's not going to build any willpower, that's not going to build any discipline. You need to push yourself outside of your comfort zone to actually make improvements. And if you are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone with squats, then that's going to offer you an even larger benefit when it comes to doing the exercise which you genuinely do enjoy doing. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many fat, lazy, unfit people, is because they simply never push themselves outside of their comfort zone. They'll just stick with the stuff they enjoy, which simply isn't going to make them improve, because to improve, your body needs to adapt to something, and your body isn't forced to adapt if it's constantly working comfortably within its means. If fitness was fun all of the time, if dieting was fun all of the time, then absolutely everybody would be doing it. So I think that's about all I've got to say at the moment. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.